You've learned basic chords, you want to open up the neck, but you're tired of the same old bar chords. Add some variety to your voice by opening up more of the fretboard. Alternate open chords and inversions, that's what's coming up on Worship Guitar 101. Today's question comes from Matt. I would love to learn how to take basic open chord shapes and play them higher on the neck without playing bar chords. Also, would love to learn how to play them inverted. These topics go pretty much hand in hand. Inversions expand your chord voicing by giving you many more ways to play chords than perhaps you had before. But just what are inversions? So to understand inversions, you must first have a good understanding of chords in general. A chord is a combination of 3 or more notes played together to create a voice, such as this C major chord. The C major chord is made up of the first, the third, and the fifth notes of the C major scale. C, E, and G. In a basic open C major chord, we play C, E, G, C, and E. Notice the lowest note we play is the C. This is called the root note, as it's the first note of the chord, and in the case of this basic open chord, it's the lowest pitch note of the chord. In a way, it's our bass note. For all of the basic open chords, and even for our bar chords, the note name of the chord is also the root note of the chord. Here are some examples. This is an A major chord. Our lowest note is the A. And here's an E minor chord. Our lowest note is the E. And here is a G major chord in bar form. Our lowest note is the G. If you've been playing guitar for a while, then this concept is probably not new to you. It's a pretty fundamental concept to music theory in general. So what is an inversion? In its simplest explanation, an inverted chord is when we use a note other than the first note as our root note. In the case of the C major chord, we don't play the C as the lowest pitch note that we play. In the case of a major chord, instead of playing the first, third, and fifth, we might play the third or the fifth as the bass note. Remember, a C major chord is C, E, and G. If we make the E or the G the bass note instead of the C, then we're playing an inverted chord. If you've ever played a C major chord and either accidentally or purposefully missed the 5th string and hit the 4th string instead, guess what? You've played an inverted chord. Why? Because your bass note became the E instead of the C. But you still played the notes of the C major chord. In this case, E, G, C, E. So maybe instead of playing a regular C major chord, C, E, G, I find a place where I can play G, C, E instead. Or maybe I can find a place where I can play E, G, C. Instead, I'm just changing up the combination of C, E, and G to make a C major chord. I'm just mixing it up a little bit, choosing a different note to be my bass note. Using the concept of inversions, we can play more open chords without necessarily playing bar chords. So what does this mean for the guitar player? It means you should really take some time to get to know your fretboard. Learn where the notes are and experiment. I spent a lot of time in this demonstration talking about the C major chord, but the concepts apply to any chord, whether it be a major, a minor, a 7th chord, you name it. there are some common forms for inverted chords that have moved the root notes around. I'll post some cheat sheets in the description of this video to help you get started. So, when are some great times to use inverted chords? Well, you're the artist of your own songs and your own styles, so the answer to that's pretty simple. Whenever you want to. But that said, there are some times when using inverted chords are incredibly useful. Suppose you have two guitar players on your worship set and you're both playing some chord forms. One thing you don't want to do, if you can help it, is to both play the same chord forms. For example, the song calls for a G major chord. You don't both want to play an open G major chord. And why not? Well, if you're both playing the same chord in the same voice, you might as well only have one guitar. Take advantage of the fact that you can make your sound bigger and more full by making different voices that complement each other. I'm going to use a popular worship song by Elevation Worship called Unstoppable God to demonstrate this. Let's take a look at the instrumental bridge. Here's the basic chord progression. As if we had two guitar players both playing the same chord forms. A little louder, but otherwise I'm not doing anything particularly dynamic with the voicing. A lot of worship bands will do this. They'll have more than one guitar player and they're both, or all, playing the same chords and forms. The result might sound okay, but the goal of this video series is to take your worship music to the next level. To get started with different voicings, one of you could play open chords and the other play bar chords. For example, that G major chord, one person could play it open, the other person could play a bar chord. Another common method that players will often use is to have one player use a capo and play forms in a different key. But now you have a new tool in your toolbox. One of you could play open chords or bar chords, and the other could play inversions. And this is actually, in fact, the method that Elevation Worship uses to get their big sound on the bridge of Unstoppable God. Let's play it again, but this time we'll add in a second guitar playing inversions. Using inversions, you can really expand your use of the guitar's neck to change up the voice of chords that you play. Use this to complement other guitarists in your band, or to add new dynamics to your own playing style. Thanks for watching this Worship Guitar 101 video. With your interest, I hope to continue producing these videos to take your worship band to the next level. If you like this video, or have suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments below. May God bless you and your worship team, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time on Worship Guitar 101.